Hello, friends. We are now going to look at identifying slope from scenarios and from equations. So when we have a scenario, it's normally like a story. So we're trying to figure out what's happening in the story. Our slope is always a rate of change. You've heard this phrase before, I'm sure. So what we want to look at is a rate. Okay, and there are several key words that we'll see here that help us know when something is a rate. It's usually causing something to increase or decrease in a certain way. So if we look at this first one, Jamie is going to bake and sell cookies to raise money for the volleyball team. At the beginning of the day, she has 90 cookies, and she sells 2 cookies per minute. Per is one of those rate words. That is an automatic give me that this is a rate, 2 cookies per minute. So if you think about it, she has 90 cookies when she starts, and she sells 2 cookies. So if we think about how many cookies she still has, right? After 1 minute, she has sold 2 cookies. So now she only has 88 cookies. Well, then she's going to sell 2 more cookies, and so on and so on and so on. And so this minus 2 is going to happen over and over and over, and that is our rate of change or our slope. Okay, so we would say that slope is -2 because we're losing 2 cookies every minute. All right, we could also say slope is the letter M. So we could say that M equals -2. Is that okay? All right, good. Some of you might be thinking, why is it -2, Miss? Because when we do our math, we're subtracting 2. If they had not told us this, and they just said, she sells 2 cookies every minute, how many cookies does she sell at the end of the day? Well, then we would be adding, because we're starting at, I sold 0 cookies, and then I sold 2 cookies, and then I sold 2 more cookies, and then I sold 2 more cookies. But this time, they're not. They gave us how many we started with, and as we sell cookies, we're going to have less and less cookies left. So it depends on the scenario, which is why reading is so important. Okay, so if you're reading a scenario and you don't understand, you need to ask a question, because the way that the scenario is written can affect your answers very, very drastically. All right, let's look at the second one. Sam has entered a shoot-a-thon in order to raise money for the basketball team. So that means that he shoots baskets, right? And then people are going to donate money for him. Before the shoot-a-thon, he raised $60. And during the game, he raises $1 for every shot he makes. So let's think. He started with $60, and then he's going to raise $1 for every shot he makes, which means hopefully he's going to earn more than $60. He'll have his $60, and then hopefully he'll make a lot of baskets and earn $1 for every one of those baskets. So for every is another one of those rate words. Okay. It's a really good indicator that this is our slope. $1 every shot. And it says that he raises. He raises. Raises means increase, right? So he raises $1 for every shot. So he started at $60. And if he makes a basket, he's going to get another $1, right? And if he gets another basket, he'll get another $1. So our slope is positive. We are increasing the amount of money he is raising. So we would say that our slope is a +1, or we could say that M equals 1. We could also use our words and say it is $1 per shot, right? Can you see that? Let me zoom in a little bit. $1, that's not very clear. Let's fix that. Hold, please. Here we go. So here's our $sign, right? $1 per shot. Okay, we could write it like that. We are going to be using our words quite a bit, so we want to make sure that we get into the habit of that. Okay, zoom back out. Devin, Devin is driving to Austin to see his brother, who is attending college there. His car can hold 16 gallons of gas on a full tank. Devin's car averages about 25 miles per gallon when driving on the highway. So if we think about it, per gallon, per is our rate word. So 25 miles per gallon, that's our rate or our slope. So our slope is 25 miles per gallon, right? Or we could say that m equals 25. So if we're thinking about this, this one, it kind of depends on the scenario, right? So we're going to leave it right there. They didn't ask us how many miles he can drive, and it didn't necessarily ask us how quickly he'll run out of gas. So whether it's positive or negative would kind of depend on what they're asking us at this point. So we're going to leave it like that for now. Okay, you're going to try these two and get those checked, all right? So I'm going to keep going with the video. You can either pause right here and do those two on your own and then come back to the video, or you can finish the video and then come do these at the end, okay? All right. Next part is we're going to identify slope from an equation. So when we're identifying, that usually means it's pretty straightforward and that you can see it with your eyes or find it very quickly. Not a lot of math to be done. So this looks familiar if you did the y-intercept videos, because we are looking for slope. Slope, we said, was the letter m. The most convenient way to find it is if your equations are in slope-intercept form, which look like this. So previously we learned that this is the y-intercept and that this is the slope. So if we can find the number in front of x, right, assuming that everything is in this order, then we know what our slope is. So y equals mx plus b. Here's that part. I don't want the x in my answer, so I really just want the 2. So we would say that m equals 2, or that our slope is 2. We could also write it as a fraction if we wanted to and say 2 over 1. Slope is often a fraction, so this would be 2 appropriate answers. All right, let's look at one where it's not in that form. So remember, we want it to have y by itself. We want to solve for y. So we're going to take our steps. The first thing we want is to move the 2x term to the other side. So we're going to subtract 2x. Make sure you write the x. Some people get lazy and they don't write the x, and then they'll make a mistake. So we have 7y, and here's where the mistake would be. 14 and negative 2x are not like terms. I cannot subtract them and get negative 12 or 12x or anything like that. They are not related. So I have to write them separately, just side by side. This 14 is positive, so I write a plus 14. Now I divide by 7 because it says 7 times y, and the opposite of 7 times y is divide. 7 divided by 7 is 1, so I have 1y. Negative 2 divided by 7 does not reduce, so I just have negative 2 over 7x. And positive 14 divided by 7 is positive 2. So remember, we're looking for y equals mx plus b. That is our m value. So we would say that m, or our slope, is negative 2 over 7. And that's very normal. A lot of your slopes are going to be fractions because we do rise over run on the graph, which we'll do in another video later. All right, I'm going to do 2 more examples, and then you're going to have a few to try on your own. Again, I want this to say y equals mx plus b. So I need to get the y by itself. What do you guys think? What should we do? If you said divide by 6, you are right. Divide by 6. Remember, what you do on one side, you have to do to the other side. 6 divided by 6 is 1y. 4 divided by 6 will not give me a whole number, but it will reduce. So 2/3 x. Okay. Negative 21 over 6 will not give me a whole number, but it should reduce. I should be able to divide by 3, right? So I would have -7/2, or 7 over 2, because 6 divided by 3 is 2. We are trying to get something in the form of y equals mx plus b. Here is my m value. Ta-da! So my slope is 2/3, or 2 over 3. All right, one more. What do you notice about this one? Yeah, the y is on the wrong side. That's really okay, because we're going to go ahead and get y by itself, and we're going to leave y on the right-hand side, and then at the end, we're just going to flip it around. Okay, kind of like, ba-dum. Okay, it'll be all right. So this says positive 14. I'm going to subtract 14, because I'm trying to get it away from the y. Remember, these are not like terms, so I have 6x minus 14 equals 5y. Now, if we think about this one, when we had a number in front of y, we divided by that. So we're going to do the same thing here. Divide by 5, divide by 5, divide by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1y. 14 divided by 5 is not pretty, and it doesn't reduce, so I'm just going to leave it. And 6 divided by 5 also does not reduce, so I'm going to leave it. All right, so we're going to rewrite this in the forwards way. So y equals, this is my mx, and this is my b. Right? So that means that this right here, 6 over 5, is my m value, or my slope. Okay? Ta-da! Very good. Okay, so you have a couple problems here on the next page to do on your own. See how they say you try. Okay, so you need to do these on your own. Get them checked and make sure you know what you're doing. If you get stuck or you don't know what to do, ask a question. And then you also need to do these two. Okay, so make sure you're trying these on your own. Don't just move on to the next thing, because you're going to have to take a level up quiz to make sure you know these things. All right, so do yourself a favor and go ahead and do that practice and ask questions when you don't understand. All right, go forth and conquer.